Hello, this is Mrs. Tilly, and I am making my first QuickTime video, and I would like to share with you the workings of Pearson Realize and how it can benefit you and your child at home. So, an important informational letter came home the other night. Hopefully you found that. It was stapled with the Notes for the Fridge graded papers packet, and it also had the information for your child and how they performed on the baseline, but you can find it here as well. Whether you use Google, Safari as your search engine, that's fine. Pearson Realize. If I spell it correctly. Mine just pops up because I go to it every single day. And then when you go to sign in, if your child is sitting with you, they should be able to do this for you. But it's GCSC and then your child's student number. So I'm not sure what their student number would be. They can tell you. I have a fictitious student. His name is Stephen Sunshine. And the passwords for all students are all the same. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if I typed that in correctly. Looks like it did. So this is what pops up when the students sit down at the computers on Fridays to take their weekly test. They have the 3 buttons. So we will start with the button on the left, Programs. This is our actual textbook. So if you click here and you want to see what we're reading or what's coming up, this is a great tool for you and your child. We are in Unit 1 currently. If you're watching it during this week 3, we're reading On the Banks of Plum Creek. So we're in week 3. And you can actually look at each day, what each day and the lessons that are provided for us to give to the students. So if we happen to be on day 2, you have the online student edition. So if your child doesn't bring home the textbook and you need to see what they're doing, or you want to read some of the things that we did in class, the textbook is right here. If they forget to bring home a workbook page, there's the reader and writer's notebook, so you can print off a workbook page at home if needed. The DVD worksheets come out of this Let's Practice It category. The students don't have a workbook page for those. We have to make those copies on the copy machine. But if they would forget their DVD worksheet pages, usually I assign those on Wednesday nights, you could always come here and find those. Something else I like to assign to the students are the vocabulary activities. We usually do these on Monday. The vocabulary cards give the students the definition. It'll even read it for them if the sound is on. Okay, so it's not working right now. Anyways, it gives it to them in a
Badger.
There we go. A little delay there. Gives them an image of what the vocab word, a picture that they could remember the vocabulary word. This one gives us word families, but there are some of these flashcards that will give synonyms or antonyms, and those are always helpful because sometimes the test will throw in a synonym or an antonym, and if you know what the word means and you know synonyms and antonyms for it, you should be able to accomplish those. Then if you want to, you can say that you've done those. You can go to the other, let's just go back. You can go to the other vocabulary activities throughout the week. Well, I closed it all out. And play any of the other games. The flashcards, you could always go over those again at home, but the vocabulary activities, if it wants to pop up here, loading, please wait, of course. There we go. There's some poetry mix-up where you try to use the vocabulary words in sentences. Other games that you can play at home. You know the 7 vocabulary words are always going to be on your Friday test. It's just like knowing that they're going to be spelling words on Friday and you know what your spelling words are ahead of time. This is one area where students can really prepare at home and at school and know at least those 7 for their tests on Friday. Going back to, I'm hoping to the 3 buttons here in a moment as it's loading. Soon. Any day now. There we go. We could go to classes. Takes us back to those buttons. This is just a class that I've put Stephen Sunshine in, but your child might be in block 1 or block 2. In there, it would tell you if there were any practices that have been automatically assigned by the computer. So if they didn't master certain skills, sometimes the computer automatically assigns some practice things. Let you know if there are some things that are in progress and the student has nothing. And it tells you that the student has completed 2 assignments and tells you those scores. The other tab you might look at would be grades. Again, you'll click on the class that they're in. And this shows you in a bar graph form, this was the baseline test. And if you click on that bar, it'll give you some more information. It'll let you know what your child needs more practice with. Now, this was the baseline group test, and a lot of our students will need some more practice in all of these areas, and that's fine because these are exactly the skills that we'll be practicing all year in 4th grade. Some students successfully completed some of the skills. Then it'll show you which questions they had incorrect. Unfortunately, it does not allow you to go back and look at the exact question. That would be a nice thing for the test, this computer program, to allow you to do, but in turn, it also decreases the fidelity of the program if you know the questions and then you pass them on to other kids who haven't taken the test yet. Sometimes that happens, and then the fidelity of the program isn't where we exactly want it. So you may look at this and say, wow, my student got an 80 on this test on Friday, but when I go to Power School and I look at my child's scores, it doesn't say 80. That's because we break it down into 2 parts, reading comprehension and vocabulary. So the first 12 questions are vocabulary and the word analysis questions. So if this student were to get a grade on the first 12 questions, they would have a 100%, because you can see that they mastered, if I'm going too fast here, they mastered the selection vocabulary and they mastered the other skill suffixes OR and ER. But when you look down at 13 through 20, 13 through 20 meant they had to read a fresh read. It was not questions. Questions over the story we read in class were not given on this test. They had a fresh read, and they had 8 new questions over the skill. So this week was setting, character, and plot, and also covering sequence, which is a skill we had last week, and that happened to include drawing conclusions, which we've not covered yet, but it is something they've talked about in 3rd grade. Unfortunately, this student missed 4 of the 8. So when you go into Power School, you're going to see that this student received a 50% on the comprehension portion of the test. Now, what this computer program does not show you is the writing piece, and that's just all done in class on Fridays on the page that you see that comes home in the Week at a Glance stapled graded papers packet. So what I would, with this student next week, I would want to pull this child into a small group setting and review author's purpose, maybe additional practice with author's purpose, and then I want to pull this student and work with them and others with sequence, because these 2 skills will spiral and we'll see them again later on this school year. And I'm tracking this and hoping that the student, with some additional practice, will be able to master that by the end of the year. So I hope this was helpful. All of your buttons are located at the top. Programs is probably the most helpful that you can do it each night at home if you wish. And then if you want to see on the weekends how they did on their tests, you can see those as well. There's the home screen. The one thing we always ask the kids to do is make sure you go to the student icon, come down to the sign out, and remember to sign out each time. Hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions.